How we doing, everybody? And welcome to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. Today, Austin is here. Rogan is out. So, Austin, how we doing on this Thursday? A fantastic Thursday, getting closer to the weekend.
That's about the only good thing that's happening right now, Trage, is that we're close to the weekend. We thought the Purdue loss was bad. We'll get into it. But
yeah,
luckily, actually not luckily, we kind of wish Rogan was here for this one. But he's out. So I guess we're gonna have to talk on his behalf. And I think we know what he would say. But besides the point, it's an all right Thursday. But like you said, it's almost Friday, which means it's almost the weekend. I'm very grateful for that. Another day to be alive, Trage.
And it is. It's a fantastic Thursday in that retrospect. But we look at it for what we saw last night from Wisconsin. And we're going to get into it, but we went into this game saying the Badgers had to win this one outright for us to have a little bit of faith again. And this was closer than what the game felt like in this one. And it was bad news all the way around. But let's get it. No, this isn't even good. You know what? I don't even know what good news to get into. For today, do you have?
Is there good news, Trage? Is there good news?
I don't know. I don't know. Let's shoot away from it for a second. Let's
There
might
be one good news.
Give me your thought of the day. You know, everybody has that thought that runs through their head during the day. Anything. Give me something that's going to take us away from what we're seeing right now in, well, most of Wisconsin sports.
Okay, well, this might still be within Wisconsin sports, but you know, with all the sun out, it's really sunny out. It's actually been pretty nice out, Trage. We always talk about the weather, but you know, we truly do have to be grateful for what we're getting in the month of. We got it in January, but now the month of February, it's somehow continuing to be this nice out there. And you know that smell of not mud, but you know that it's that fresh smell of spring, you know, and it makes you think of baseball. And I saw something. We're less than 50 days away from baseball season, Trage. Don't know if that's a good thing. Don't know if that's a good thing. Don't know if that's a bad thing. Don't know what the Brewers are going to give us this year. But, you know, at least it's another sport that's on its way, and it's giving us a little bit of hope. I'm pretty sure pitchers and catchers got to be reporting soon for the Brewers now. I know they usually report in February. And I don't know if we'll get into this later, but we did just add another catcher, so that's going to be interesting to talk about that later. But, you know, at least we got something to look forward to, less than 50 days, and I'm at least a little bit excited for that. That was my thought.
We got something to look forward to. I agree. We got something to look forward to moving forward here. My thought of the day, how do they make bicycle tires?
Trage.
Serious question.
Question?
I was pondering that today. I was like, how do they make bike tires?
Depends on what kind of tire you're talking about here. They got the big ones. They got the medium ones. Then they got the ones that the Amish ride that I don't even think have a tube inside of them.
Many people don't know about Amish. They get surprised when they come up to the middle of Wisconsin to see Amish. They are a people that you might have seen them. I don't know. You know, you have to go to select areas to see them. No power, no electricity at all. They use
gasoline. They use gasoline generators. I'm pretty sure they use gas powered stuff.
They cheat the system.
They cheat. Depends on the Amish. I heard that they're getting a little bit more. What's the word? Advanced.
Yeah. It depends what kind of church you're in too. What kind of group you're involved in. That tells you what you can actually do and can't do. I know.
Depends what the bishop over there is dishing out for him. You know.
That's what they say. Some don't have to have lights on their carriages at night, and they'll just have a little lantern out the side, and then you go up by, like, if you get up towards, like, Athens, Wisconsin, up in that area over by Wausau, Wisconsin, all those buggies look like cars coming down the road because they're tricked out with headlights, and they have lights.
They got the battery-powered lights right there.
It is actually scares the crap out of you because you feel like there's a car heading at you, and all of a sudden you get closer and closer, and you're like,
it's a horse.
That's a horse. That would be a horse.
It's a 1 horsepower buggy right there, Trage. Maybe 2 sometimes.
It is a 1 horsepower buggy, and it has got pure adrenaline.
You know, they're probably mad, Trage. All the snow's gone in the banks. They can't go skiing in the banks getting pulled by the horse.
That is If you haven't seen that, that is about the coolest thing you could watch.
Gotta look it up.
When you see them, they're driving down the gravel road and they have a person out in the ditch or the field riding on skis behind this carriage. It is the coolest thing that you will see. I want to do it sometime with a car. I want to have a car driving down the dirt road, attach your rope onto the hitch of that baby, and just ride right into the ditchway with your skis. I think that'd be something.
No one knows. Something bad's going to happen. Guarantee it.
Yeah. I would just worry about, like, if you were driving the car, you would purposely speed up.
I'm a great driver.
On me. You would speed up, and I'd end up hitting, like, a Highline pole or something and just be donezo. So that would be my worry with it.
Strange. I got a ticket yesterday, a parking ticket. I was driving La Crosse, not the greatest place to park. Anywhere you park, it's like a 2-hour parking maximum. And they're looking to hand them out. City of La Crosse got to make any money the way they can. And sometimes you get mad. It's a parking cop. Like, come on. Literally, it says parking, utility parking. What are you going to do? But no, this time they got me good. Actually, I got myself good. I parked directly in front of a driveway it was like a hidden driveway in the town. And for some reason, I was in a rush. I had to go lifting. I didn't see that there was a car to my right parked next to someone's house. And I'm like, dang, I parallel parked this pretty good. I'm like, never thought about why the spot was going to be able to parallel park there. Come out, next thing I know, bam, $20. I'm like, ugh. Not the first time, but stupid decision by my fault. I can't even be mad at the guy. Like, that probably got called in by the person who lives there. But just want to say, if you don't have parking meters or an hour parking and you don't got specifically cops that go around giving you tickets, be grateful, because someday you're going to be in that situation. You're going to get a nice, good old red ticket slapped on your windshield and be like, what the heck?
Yeah, the greatest story I ever heard was this guy. He was sitting in his house with his wife. They got 6 inches of snow. They had the alternate side parking that night. So he's like, I'll go outside and move the car to the other side. So he moved to the other side. Leaves it there. Next day, 6 inches of snow is coming. So he's like, okay, I'll move it to the other side of the road. So he moves it over the other side of the road. Good. Next day, same thing. So he moves it back. Next day, he goes outside. And he's like, you know what, honey? Tonight, I'm going to park the car in the garage. And he pulls it up into the garage there. Oh, that was a tough crowd from York.
I think.
Wow.
Why wasn't the car parked in the garage to begin with, Trage?
That's the thing. Why wasn't the car parked in the garage?
Oh, that was a joke.
We're going to get into it today.
Trage, they've gotten rid of alternating parking in La Crosse, probably for the goodness of the folks that actually live here, because that stuff gets confusing. I lived a little bit away from campus last year, a little ways from campus. Our neighbor, ruthless, man. He was, I don't want to say the B word, but he was saying fighting words to us because we weren't alternating parking. I'm like, sorry, bud, we got 12 guys that live here and like 10 cars, and we can't fit them everywhere. So he was like, hey, you can't park over here. I'm like, well, you're parked over here too, sir. Don't know what you're yelling at. Then a stupid dog. I love dogs, but his dog just barking all the time. Thought about killing a dog one day, but anyway. Oh, your bike tire? Trage, they're made of rubber, by the way.
I know they're made of rubber. I just want to know how they're made and the full aspect of it. But I got, speaking of La Crosse parking tickets, when I was living in La Crosse, 5 parking tickets I got for alternate parking. So I'm glad to hear they finally got rid of it now that I'm gone. That really helps me out.
Yeah, it only took them a couple of years, but
it only took them a couple. I paid them off. They didn't need any more money anymore. So they're like, all right, we'll move on here. So with that, we got a lot to get into. Let's jump into it here. That was better mood. We're in a better mood now.
I'm a little bit more happy. I got my anger out, and I'm about to get back into it. But yeah,
now we're going to talk about something terrible. We got the Bucks. The Bucks lost to the Suns there. Another loss for the Bucks. They have now lost 4 of their last 5 games. That's fantastic if you are a Bucks fan. So I want to look at this Phoenix Suns game first before we preview a very tough matchup with the Timberwolves coming up there tomorrow night. So with that, looking at the Suns game right away, Austin, what did we see for stats in this one that stood out?
I thought the Bucks played pretty well, and it looks like only the third quarter, it got pretty late. Okay, they started at 9 o'clock. Obviously, it's in the Suns arena there, but third quarter, you just look at that, and we only were down by 7. But besides that, a slow start for both teams in the first quarter, and kind of in the second compared to what we had in the fourth. But we didn't. We were 7 points behind, or 6 points behind at the end of the, or 6 points. 6 points behind at the end of the third, and then ended up losing this one by 8. You look at the team stats. Giannis, 34 points, 10 rebounds. I thought he had a pretty solid night there for them. Beasley had 22. He had 6 for 14 threes there. Shot 14 threes, but made 6 of them, so it makes him look a little bit better. And then Pat Connaughton had 12. He started. Middleton only 6, but he did get injured. He tweaked his ankle on a 2-point shot foul. He got fouled, tweaked his ankle there, and he only played 8 minutes. Robin Lopez started. Was that just – I don't know if that was just because of the tip, because Brooks out, but he got 18 minutes. Jay Crowder had 10 or 40 minutes with 10 points. Bobby Portis only 5 points. Cameron Payne 11 points. But it just – we had Brook Lopez out. We had Damian Lillard didn't play, I think, because of something with his ankle, so he was resting. And then Chris Middleton got injured very early in this one. Like, overall, like, we were just set up not to win. Like, it seemed like we were set up for failure, and yet our team was still able to stay pretty close with a team that you look at their starters here. Kevin Durant, 28 points, 10 rebounds. They have Bradley Beal, 25 points, 10 rebounds. Devin Booker, 32 points for them. And then even Nurkic had 10 points, added 10 points for them. And then Grayson Allen, 8 points. So their team was kind of stacked. They were full going for their team. And we were down almost pretty much 3 starters the whole game. If you want to count Chris Middleton being out for the whole game, they're only playing 8 minutes. So I thought as a team, we played pretty well. But I just don't think we had the talent to back it up towards the end of the game. Jay Crowder, he just hasn't been how he used to be before he got in the Bucks. He was really good before he got in the Bucks. Last year he was all right. We thought he was going to be a little bit better, and then this year he got injured. Nothing, like pretty much nothing. Bobby Portis, just an off night, I guess, for him. He only shot the ball 9 times, made 1 3-pointer. Cameron Payne, I thought he added some valuable minutes there. 11 points off the bench for Cameron Payne in 23 minutes. I thought that was pretty good out of Cameron Payne. But when you're starting Robin Lopez hasn't played all year. And I'm guessing that was because of the tip, or we're just down that many centers. But at least put Bobby in there for him right away, or just start Bobby, honestly. I don't get why Giannis doesn't tip. Giannis can jump the highest as the biggest out of all of them. Why does Giannis not tip? You don't need to put Robin Lopez in there just because his brother's hurt. And then the Phoenix Suns bench, they played a lot into their bench, actually. Eric Gordon, I thought he made 1 3. I actually saw him make that 3. It was in the first half there. But he played 22 minutes, only had 3 points. I didn't think their bench was very impressive. It's just the Suns have a lot of star power. And Bradley Beal, and I'm pretty sure Kevin Durant hasn't played the whole year. They were kind of out. I know Bradley Beal for sure, though. But Bradley Beal, 25. Like I said, Kevin Durant, 28, and then Devin Booker with 32 there. And it shows when you have a lot of star power. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't, like you're looking at the Bucks right now. Not very impressive, but did not help that we had 3 guys, 2 guys out, 1 guy injured early in the game there. And but they're able to keep this game pretty close. I thought it was impressive, even though we did get the loss in Phoenix.
You know, and all the way around, you look at this Suns team, and they did struggle shooting the basketball. You know, you talked about Durant and Beal and Booker there, but you look at them collectively, they all put up over 20 shots in this game here. So they put together 60 shots together, and that's what you're going to get out of those 3. I mean, those are going to be a majority of the shooters there, but they struggled. I mean, on the offensive end in this one, the Bucks just, I mean, as we've talked about, don't have the depth for when, say, Brook is out or Dame's out or Middleton's out, and now all 3 of them out at the same time. They don't have the depth and the shooters to be able to back it up. And we saw that in this one with, like you said, 2 guys in our, well, you don't count Middleton there, but a lot of minutes from Crowder, 10 points, 40 minutes, 10 points. That is going to kill you if you are the Milwaukee Bucks. Cameron Payne, 23 minutes. I mean, that's A lot of these guys, a lot of more minutes than they've played all season long. Pat Connaughton, 32 minutes with 12 points. It took him 32 minutes to finally get above 10 points in a basketball game. That is not what you want to see if you are the Bucks, especially because on a regular basis, Pat Connaughton's going to be out there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes a game, 20 minutes if he's lucky, but he's not going to get a majority of the minutes with this Bucks team. The thing that kicks me right now, we talk about depth. Doc is not using the depth of Bieshkamp and Jackson Jr. You look in this game, the only guys who didn't come in off the bench were Bieshkamp, Thanasis, and Andre Jackson Jr. in this game. Two guys who, before Doc came in Bieshkamp and Jackson Jr., were playing valuable minutes, were adding buckets here and there. Now, were they the greatest scorers in the world? No. But I can tell you one thing, they were scoring more points than 13 minutes and 0 points out of Green in that ball game. They were getting more than that out of this guy in Bieshkamp or Andre Jackson Jr. I know it's going to take a bit for the Bucks to figure this one out, for a new head coach coming in trying to reinvent this group that the Bucks have. But I'm looking at it right now and I'm saying they don't have a lot of time. I mean, we're going to talk about standings here in a second, but Middleton is now out for a little bit. I don't know how many games yet. He walked out of the stadium there with crutches and a boot. It's going to be a couple games at least for Middleton. He's going to be out. Brook Lopez, I know he's having another kid. I don't know when he's coming back. I have no idea. Damian Lillard should be coming back in this next one, so that'll be a boost. But you're missing two of your other stars in this lineup right now, and I don't think the Bucks can afford that. I mean, we're driven by the starters, and if the starters can't get it done, we're kind of toast, and that's where this Bucks team is at right now. We haven't heard anything out of trade rumors. Well, we've heard trade rumors. I did hear they're active in the Andrew Wiggins front now, so that could be an idea. But, you know, with other guys being in and out of the lineup right now, bringing in Andrew Wiggins is just plugging in another piece for Middleton. You're just replacing Middleton with a guy like Middleton. And I'm not saying Andrew Wiggins and Middleton are the exact same player, but what I'm saying is that Middleton's one of your stars, you would call him, and that would be Wiggins. So without Middleton in the lineup, I mean, what are you really getting out of that? You know, you're just replacing a piece with a piece right now. If Middleton cannot stay healthy, he's had the injury problems this year. I don't know. The Bucks got me for a loop right now. I don't know what the heck 33-18. I know we were talking about the other day and we said they're still up there at the top of the standings and everything like that, but it feels like they're falling farther and farther away from being a top team in the East and a top team in the NBA. They're more or less the bottom. They're not the bottom. They're the middle of the pack team now. They're not a star-studded team anymore. They're this middle of the pack team that not many teams really fear. You know, when you think about facing the Celtics, you worry. You worry about facing Tatum. You worry about facing Brown, Porzingis. I mean, Drew Holiday, all the guys that the Celtics have. You look at this Bucks team right now. Is there a team that's saying right this very second, I don't want to face the Bucks? I don't want to face the Bucks. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I'm looking up and down the scheduled teams that the Bucks have to play, and I'm like, I don't believe that any one of these teams actually fears playing the Bucks right now. You got to face the Timberwolves coming up here. That is going to be a rough one. You have the Timberwolves. You face right after that. Or no. Yeah, I'm right. Timberwolves. Then you have the Hornets. Then you're going to face the Nuggets. Then the Heat. Then the Grizzlies. Then the Timberwolves. Then you have to face the Sixers. I mean, that is rough sledding right there. And then you have a little bit of a break there with the Hornets. Then you play the Bulls. Then you have the Clippers, the Warriors, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Sacramento Kings, the 76ers, the Suns, the Celtics, the Brooklyn Nets, and then Oklahoma City Thunder right after that. Rogan was talking about the toughest remaining schedule. That is a gauntlet. And if the Bucks cannot figure it out soon, that gauntlet is going to look straight like an L. You might just put a giant L over the entire sequence there because that is where they're trending right now. So it's going to be rough here, but let's get into tonight's game. They got the Timberwolves coming up tonight here, 7:00 tip. From the Pfizer, coming back home for this game. The Bucks, I haven't seen the Bucks not favored in a home game in a very long time. And in this game against the Timberwolves are favored 62% to 37% to the Bucks right now. That is bad. That is bad if you call yourself one of the best teams in the East and you're facing a team like Timberwolves and you aren't favored, or at least close to 50% favored in this game. You are under 40% favored. That's rough. That is rough if you are the Milwaukee Bucks. So, Austin, I mean, who are we looking at in this game for the Timberwolves? Who are the Bucks? They got to key in on some guys. Who are they keying in on the defensive end here in this one?
Yeah, big guy for them, Anthony Edwards, 25.9 points per game there, 5.3 rebounds, but also 1.2 steals, leads the team in that for the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns, he has 22.7 points per game there, and then 8.6 rebounds also. And then Rudy Gobert, oh my gosh, Rudy Gobert. I just pulled a that was a bad one there, Trey. That was a bad one. He's French. But he's averaging 13.6 points per game, but 12.6 rebounds per game. Leads the team in that and also blocks with 2.1. Really good defensive player and just really good overall player there. He's won Defensive Player of the Year a couple times down there, the big guy for the Timberwolves. Naz Reid, he adds 12.3 points per game. Jaden McDaniels, 10.8. And then Mike Conley adds 10.6 points per game there, but also 6.5 assists per game. So a really good point guard out of Mike Conley. This is a pretty good team overall, Trey. 113 points per game. We've seen more out of other teams, but, I mean, I think they're just really gritty. You saw they made the playoffs last year. They lost to the Lakers, I'm pretty sure it was, or maybe the Nuggets. I can't remember who they lost to last year. They lost to someone, obviously. I think it was a little bit earlier in the rounds, but they're a really gritty team this year. They're 35-6 team overall, 35-16 overall, and they're decent on the road too. I'm pretty sure they're 16-11 away. Bucks 21-5 at home. And like you said, can't remember the last time the Bucks have been not favored at home. 37.2% chance of winning for the Bucks. Not very good. And you look at how many people that we might have out, and that explains a lot. Like, is the Timberwolves playing the best Milwaukee Bucks team? No. But you can't take away what Minnesota Timberwolves have. And they have a really good team right now. And they're fighting to be first in the West there if they're not already. I have to look at their standings here. But they're third in wow. I mean, I don't know if you want to get into this later, but the West, the top 4 teams are all tied for technically the 1 spot, but they have the Clippers at number 1. I think that's because I don't know why, but the West is stacked. The West is stacked, Trage, and like you were saying off of the remaining schedule for the Bucks, they have to play a lot of teams in the West, so definitely gonna be a struggle for them. But when you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, a gritty team, a really tough team, a team with a lot of talent. It's gonna be a tough one. Honestly, I would bet against the Bucks too in this one. With how much I'm not a betting man, but you look at how much the Bucks don't have right now. Hopefully, Damian Lillard plays, but he's been struggling a tiny bit there too. It's just not looking good for the Bucks, and Minnesota is just playing some really good basketball.
Yeah, and looking at the injuries for the Bucks, it looks like Brook Lopez will still be out. It looks like Damian Lillard is a questionable, probably out for this game, and Chris Middleton is most likely out. So the Bucks will be playing without 3 of their stars once again in this game. 5-5 in their last 10 are the Bucks or the Timberwolves, though. They're both 5-5 in their last 10. The Timberwolves are averaging about 111 per game right now in their last 10 games. The Bucks are averaging 119. Opponents have scored 117 points per game against the Bucks. The Timberwolves are only giving up about 105 points per game right now. So this is going to be a gritty battle where these two teams stand right now. The offense isn't flowing. The defense is more where they're holding their own right now. That's where I'm leaning towards in this game. Who's going to be able to get up? Who's going to be able to hit the most shots at the end of the day in this one? Will Giannis go off for 50 points, or will somebody else step up for the Bucks? The Bucks need someone to step up right now. I don't know who it's going to be. I really don't. If it's going to be a random guy like Pat Connaughton who's going to hit shots, if they're going to put in a guy like Bieshkamp, I don't know. But somebody for this Bucks team outside of Giannis has to pull some kind of weight here moving forward, because otherwise, like we were just talking, this is going to be a struggle fest moving forward here for the Bucks. So 7:00 tip for that one from the Pfizer. Bucks and Timberwolves will be squaring off in that one. I want to look at the NBA standings now. You kind of touched into it there with the West. 4 teams tied for first right now. I don't know what is the tiebreaker. There has to be a tiebreaker, right? That's why the Clippers are in first. It might go off a point differential. The Clippers, no, it's not off a differential because the Nuggets lead that one in differential. Yeah, I'm not really sure on that one.
I was thinking maybe alphabet, but
Clippers,
T is after N, so it's definitely not alphabet.
Clippers have one less loss than everybody else. They are 34-15. The Oklahoma City Thunder are 35-16. So are the Timberwolves. So are the Nuggets. That's why.
I never understood that. A loss weighs more than a win.
Yeah, I guess one more win, one more loss. So we take them both away then, and we say that they're even record then.
But then when you look at their win percentage, it's better too. Or their percentage in general is better also.
Interesting. I'm not sure on that one. Well, hold on. Let me figure something out here.
It's all about mathematics, Trage. I've never been good at mathematics, not gonna lie. Not my favorite subject in school either. That was lunchtime, Trage. Lunchtime, favorite subject.
That was lunchtime. That's
fair. Loved lunchtime.
Love me some lunchtime. So looking at the West, like we were saying, the top 4 teams there: Clippers, Thunder, Timberwolves, Nuggets. Then the Kings and the Suns coming in 5 and 6. Pelicans, Mavericks, Lakers, and Jazz filling out the 7 through that 10 spot. The Golden State Warriors, 11 games back of first place right now. They're 2.5 games back of the, or 1.5 games back of the Jazz right now. Yep, 1.5. And then we have a two. The Rockets are 2 games back of that number 10 spot right now. So the West is definitely, Rogan talked about it the other day and said that the Bucks were comparable to the West just simply off a record. But I look at the West and I just say that a lot of teams are beating each other up. That's what I'm seeing in the West right now. There's a lot of good teams in the West. The Clippers, the Thunder, Timberwolves, Nuggets, even the Kings are a good team. And the Suns have a loaded up, star-studded lineup. So when you look at those, put them all together, that is a pretty good top 6 right there. Looking at the East right now, the Boston Celtics in first, and we talked about it not too long ago. We said the Cavs are coming up on the Bucks. How soon will they catch them? They are now in second place in the East. The Bucks have dropped to the 3rd spot. They are tied with the Knicks. Well, technically tied with the Knicks right now. The Bucks hold the tiebreaker over top of the Knicks. But both 6 games back of that first place spot. The 76ers are 8 games back, and the Pacers are 10.5. The Heat sitting at 12 games back, along with the Magic. And then the Bulls are sitting 15 games back in that 9 spot. And the Hawks are 17 games back in that 10 spot as of right now. So, looking at all the standings right now, any surprises there that you are seeing?
Not a surprise, but I think the Knicks are a really good team. In their last 10 games, they're 9-1. Same with the Cavs. So they're playing some pretty good basketball from those 2 teams. But like we said with the Bucks, 5-5, not very good. Heat are starting to lose some games too. They're 3-7. They just won though, so that could be a good thing for them. But Cavs have won their last 7. And that makes sense why they've kind of gained so much ground on us. Not only the Bucks losing, but they're winning. They're winning a lot of basketball games. 9-1 in the last 10, and they're on a 7-game win streak right now. When you look at the West, yeah, really good teams. And like you were saying, beating each other up, it seems like. A lot of good teams, but a lot of, if you want to go, the Jazz are in the 10, and they have a 500 record. After that, Warriors still have a chance to make the playoffs. So they're beating each other up. You got to go – even the Chicago Bulls are under 500, and they're a 9th team, but they're like 470 or 471. So I'd say the West is just better in general, but we also have the Celtics in the East too that are kind of like what the East is kind of just portraying to be our best. Like obviously the best team, but that's kind of all we got in the East is the Celtics, and West just has a lot of good teams, a lot of gritty teams too. And this is gonna be weird because obviously the Nuggets won the championship last year, but it's been everyone always talks about the Lakers or the Warriors. A lot of people talk about the Suns now because they got them big three. But you look at the closest team to them, besides the Nuggets, who are number 4, Suns are number 6, Lakers are number 9, and then Warriors are 11. So the top 2 teams I feel like everyone always used to talk about are barely making the playoffs, and one of them might not even make the playoffs. So I think it's good for the sport. It's a little change it up. A lot of people, especially for the Kings. Kings have been down so bad. Like I can't remember how long ago it was that they were just atrocious. They were losing almost every single game. And now these past few years, the Kings have been doing really good. And I'm happy for them because a lot of people were not cheering for them, but it's like sometimes teams get forgotten, Trage.
Yep.
Teams get forgotten. Kind of like Charlotte. Charlotte, no one really cares about them. And that's because they're the 13th team. Pistons, the only reason why they're relevant is because they've won 6 games. I can't believe they won 6 games. Not going to lie. That's actually surprising. They won 4 games since they were 2-21 or whatever it was. Now they're 6-43. So, and even they almost have a better 5 or last 10 game streak than the Bucks. I don't think they played as many good teams, but still, when you look at it like that, we're basically the Pistons, Trage.
Basically the Pistons. Like you were saying there, it's good to see a lot of young star power coming into the league and bringing a lot of these teams back from, like you said, being non-factors in the league, and now young star power has brought them back to the forefront. So definitely a good thing. A lot of good things coming in the NBA standings right now. Can't wait to see how it all shakes out here. But with that, moving on here, I want to talk about a couple of our sponsors. Your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy, Sue, or Anna to find your dream home, or if you're looking to sell, find them on Facebook at your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in and see them at their location in Marshfield. And with that, and along with that, another one of our sponsors, Pittsville Farm and Home Center. At the store, they serve you anything from hydraulic hoses to red roses. Stop in and see the awesome crew at Pittsville Farm and Home Center in Pittsville. Moving on here. Well, I didn't want to prolong it too long because I wanted to get upset right after getting upset about the Bucks here. So let's jump into it right away. Badgers lose again. That's 3 in a row. 3 losses in a row. I could survive the loss to Purdue. I got over the loss to Nebraska. Now you just lost to a team that went into that game at 7-15 on the year, the Michigan Wolverines. And this game was 72-68. But a 4-point lead in this game felt like it was 20 when the Badgers were playing. This was downright just terrible. Austin, before I move on, let's look at the stats in this one. What did we see in this game from stats?
Yeah, I didn't watch this game, and honestly, probably a good reason why I didn't watch it, because as you can tell, we lost.
That 20-point blowout that you watched was better than this.
Which is just crazy. I'm surprised Juwan Howard didn't throw hands after the game, honestly. I feel like I would have heard about it. But anyway, when you get into the stats, Steven Crowl, man. I don't even have to talk about the other guys because I thought they did play good. Steven Crowl, man, 3 points from him in 19 minutes. Not impressive. I think Greg Gard saw that because Nolan Winters played 18 minutes also. But he only scored 1 point. So that's not very impressive either. Our big guy that the Badgers used to have is basically non-existent now. Tyler Wall, he added 12 points. Max Klesmit, 10 points. Chucky Hepburn finally had a good game, I'd say. If you want to look at a bright spot, 17 points from him. That's pretty good. AJ Storr, 20 points. I feel like him and Chucky were kind of the only bright spots. Once again, our bench, we thought we had depth, Trage. We thought we had depth on this bench, but they struggled tonight. Connor Seaton, only 10 minutes again, but 0 points in those 10 minutes. Missed two 3-pointers there. But John Blackwell, only 3 points also. So overall, only scoring 68 points. I thought we were going to be a Badger team that was going to not average 80 points, but like around the 75 mark. Around the 75 mark, I feel like that's pretty realistic. with some of the games that they played and were able to score a lot of points. This one was just not good. You look at their three-point percentage, 26% from three, but 5 of 19. We shot 19 three-pointers and only made 5. When you look at Michigan, they shot 20, made 7. So there's your 6 points right there, Trage, that we lost by. Or we lost by 4, but there's 6 of those points that they just shot a little bit better than us. Overall, as a team, Michigan, none of their guys were very impressive. McDaniel had 16 points, but the rest of the guys were kind of just playing their roles. Reed Jr., 12 points. Williams II, 10 points. Their other 2 players both scored 8 points. I don't know how to say that guy's name. I tried saying it yesterday. Nukamwa. Is that how you say it, Trey? Did you hear his name get announced? Close enough. He had 12 rebounds there. Steven Krell had 4 rebounds. So he just out-bullied him pretty much, it looks like. It seemed like he just wanted a little bit more than some of our other guys. They out-rebounded us 34-28, 27 defensive rebounds. Both had 7 offensive rebounds, so you can't really blame it on the offensive rebound second chances there. Overall, we just got beat, Trage. We just did not play Wisconsin basketball. 12 turnovers there. They had 12 turnovers. Michigan's an 8-15 team, 3-9 in conference. They had 12 turnovers. That I can see. Wisconsin, 16-7 now, 8-4 in conference, 12 turnovers. Not good. We had 5 against Purdue. 5 turnovers. How do we have 5 turnovers against one of the best teams in the country? We come and play in Michigan and have 12 turnovers. Just things are becoming – I feel like things are becoming sloppy when you look at the grand scheme of things. And I don't know, maybe we just thought we were going to waltz into Michigan and just beat the crap out of them, and we didn't. And now the chances of us probably winning Big Ten Conference, at least the regular season, I feel like have dropped majorly. We still have a chance to beat Purdue again, but I think Purdue's going to probably win out the rest of the year, and then we'll see about that Wisconsin game. So if you want to look at it like that, I can't really say that it's going to be close, but Trey, this one's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. You know when Badger Barstool on Instagram, they always post the I am sad with Bucky hanging, holding the I am sad. That's what we are, Trey. We are sad. 3-game losing streak. We thought we were ranked 6 at one point. And we were like, well, 6, maybe that's a stretch, but we were playing like it at one point. And now we got bumped down to 11. We're like, all right, we're 11. We're outside of 10. No pressure anymore, really. And now we lose. And now what are we going to be, Trage? Doesn't even matter, Trey. It doesn't even matter what our ranking is at this point. Because we have to somehow win the game. Trage, if we don't win a lot of these games, do we make the tournament even? We have some good wins. We have good wins, but this Michigan loss and this Penn State loss, I feel like hold a lot of weight too. Just at looking at some of these games. So overall, disappointing. You watched the game, so you tell me kind of how it went, because I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, you just said it right there. Do they make the tournament? They just went from a 2 or 3 seed in the tournament to now a probably 6, 7 seed. Just with that loss right there, that's a bad loss. That is a bad loss.
Judge, I basically this is partially my fault. I feel like I spoke it into existence. I said they're looking at like a 6 or 7 seed. They lose this game in Michigan, and now it actually is looking like a 6 or 7 seed. Yeah, you're not lying about that.
No, and this was a killer of a game. We talked about it yesterday. We said simply the Badgers had to show us something. You lost 2 games in a row. This was a bad Michigan team. This is a bad Michigan team. This isn't even a semi-good Michigan team. This is a bad team all the way around. Doug McDaniel's a good player. I'll give him that. Cheddar's a pretty good player, and I think that Reed Jr. that plays for Michigan is going to develop into a great player at Michigan. The rest of them, I wouldn't even shake a stick at them. I wouldn't. That's just me. This was, say disappointing was an understatement in this game. And, I talked about it. What were teams starting to do to the Badgers? They were doubling down on Steven Crowl. You know why Steven Crowl only had 3 points in this game, besides being out for most of it because he had 4 fouls? You know why Steven Crowl only he couldn't finish at the rim. That's one. So 1 for 4 on the game. But other than that, I mean, one of those missed shots he did get fouled on. I'll give him credit for one missed shot. He did get fouled on that shot hard, and they did not call it for him. But you look at this as a whole, teams are doing this to the Badgers simply because you stated right there 5 for 19 in this game. If you put that, and I want to look back here and see what they shot against Purdue from 3. See if I can pull it up real quick. They shot 3 for 19 against Purdue. Okay, so they have over those last 2 games, if you put, let's do the percentage there for them. What do we got? 19. And how many threes did we say they shot against Michigan?
They shot 19 for threes from Michigan, and they made 5.
So they are 8 for 38 from 3 in the last 2 games. We talked about this early on this year, right? We were all high and mighty on the Badgers and how great they were scoring the basketball. But what was the one thing that I kept harping on? They were going to run into a point when the shots weren't falling. What were they going to do? This game, they scored 30. I think it was at one point like 34 of their 50 points were from in the lane. They were from 2-point shots, layups, and that kind of jazz. Not from the 3-point line. What did the Badgers do in this game that failed them? They kept shooting jump shots. That's what kills me. And then you get after the games. Greg Gard, he'll come out and he'll talk and he'll say, you know what's killing us? We got to stop shooting so many jump shots throughout the game there. We really got to attack the basket and get to the rim. Greg, that's your job. Draw something up that's going to go to the rim then. That's not your job to tell us what they should have done. That's your job to make that in-game adjustment and be able to do that. You need to be able to tell me during the game to make that adjustment. Late in this game, Badgers down by 3. They call a timeout, and out of the timeout, they draw up a 3-ball for Chucky Hepburn. A 1-on-1 3-ball for Chucky Hepburn. Austin, you didn't have to watch the game versus Michigan to tell me one thing here. Has Chucky Hepburn been the greatest scorer on Wisconsin this season?
Negative. And yet, in this game, that is the play call we get. You call a timeout to draw up that? That's the best thing you can draw up coming out of a timeout? Are you kidding me right now? Well, it's better than a Nolan Winter 3-pointer, I'll tell you that much, but still pretty bad.
Yeah, 100%. And, I heard before this game, they were talking about AJ Storr, and they said that he had NBA. He was going to go to the league after this season. I don't believe that. I really don't. AJ Storr is a phenomenal athlete. He can create his shot, but he plays the game of basketball like a doorknob. I watched him. He had a couple. Tonight, bad shot selection once again, and a couple of costly turnovers for this Badger team. He had 3 turnovers on the ball game in this one. One of them, the Badgers had finally got it back down to, 5. Yeah, Michigan had pushed the lead out to 10, and Badgers got it down to 5, got a turnover. AJ took it down. He was running up into the front court, got stopped. He turned to pass the ball back out, threw it right into a Michigan guy's hands. Not even thinking about what to do there. This Badger team has me lost. Now, tell me, Austin, what's the difference between Greg Gard and Paul Chryst? That's what I want to know. Paul Chryst was winning games with this Badger football program. He was. And he was winning games. The only thing he couldn't do was get the Badgers over the hump. He could not get them over Ohio State.
Yep.
Wisconsin basketball right now, you tell me the difference. And, Rogan would tell me the difference all day long. I got to give Rogan crap because he's not here.
Yeah, he'd probably come up with something, but –
you tell me the difference. How long? Greg Gard hasn't made it out of the second weekend or the second weekend in March Madness since he took over the program in 2017. And in 2017, when that happened, he had Bo Ryan's guys. He had Bronson Canning. He had Nigel Hayes. He had Vito Brown. He had Bo Ryan's guys. Now we're getting Greg Gard's guys, and we're talking about a big guy in the state of a big guy at the University of Wisconsin who can't score. How long has it been since we had to say that? I mean, look at how many big guys we've had in a row at the University of Madison who could score the basketball. I mean, and we saw Nate Reavers for the Badgers actually dip in his production, but we had a transfer come in the name of Micah Potter, who took over that role and kind of became the big man for the Badgers when Nate Reavers was struggling. We have not seen Greg Gard figure this out yet, and it worries me moving forward because we talked about recruiting yesterday. You don't think recruits see this? You don't think they see how Greg Gard is coaching these games and they say, why would I want to go there? Look at Connor Essegian. 10 minutes in this game here. He was 0 for 3, 0 for 2 from downtown in this game, but 10 minutes. He played 10 minutes. Was there a guy in the Badgers starting lineup that was playing that well in this game that Connor Essegian didn't get minutes in this one? I really don't think so. Chucky Hepburn, 6 for 11 from the floor in this one, and A.J. Storr was 7 for 14. The Badgers, they're settling for jump shots. And if Greg Gard cannot get through to this Badger team, that's the problem. They need to get to the rim, and they need to score it at the rim. There's going to be no fixing this. 19 free throws in this one. You went to the rim. That's where majority of their points came in this one was at the rim in this game. They had 15 points otherwise from 3 in this one. 15 points. The shots were falling at the rim. The Badgers need to get there. What they didn't do in this game is exactly that. Teams want the Badgers to shoot the 3 simply because they don't have the shooters to do it. This is what we're going to see. Right now, the Badgers are cold. Why are they losing? Because they're cold. They can't hit a 3. I mean, if you go back, I didn't even go look at the Nebraska game. What happened in that Nebraska game from 3 in that one? I can only imagine if it's anywhere near this same total. Trying to pull it up here.
I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think it was good
10
either.
for 31. 10 for 31. They made 10 in that game. I'll give them that.
But they also shot 31 compared to 19.
They shot 31. Yeah. They shot 31. So you put all them together, and you have the Badgers sitting at what? 19 and 31. 69 threes in their last 3 games, and they've made a total of 18 of them. 18 for 69 in their last 3 games. You want to know why you're losing basketball games? That's it right there. Plain and simple. It is plain and simple. The Badgers don't have the shooters from the outside, and when they can't get anything going in the paint, they will struggle. This is what we're watching right now. You want to know who the Badgers play next? They have Rutgers coming up this weekend, I believe.
Yep.
I mean, you want to know what Rutgers is going to do to the Badgers? They're going to force them to shoot the 3 ball. They're going to force the Badgers to shoot it from 3. This game is at the rack. They're going to force the Badgers to go on the road at the rack and shoot the 3 ball. Can the Badgers do it? That's what I want to know. Can they do it? They're going to have to, because the way that they're playing right now, that's where they're trending. You're 16-7 right now. You are the Badgers right now. You're 16-7. You have to play the likes of Rutgers yet. You have to play Iowa, who's getting better. You have to play a team like Indiana, and you have to play Illinois and Purdue yet on the season. This season right now, we're in the wrong direction. We're tail spinning right now, and this thing could lead up to, I mean, what do you got left? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games left. This season, you could end this thing with 10 losses, 11 losses yet. You could. And this Badger team went from, I heard Greg Gard after the game against Purdue say that this team is still one of the top teams in the country. They didn't play like it.
This doesn't look like it, I should say.
No. Purdue beat Michigan 99-67. That game was in Ann Arbor. 99-67. That's proving you're a good team. When you play a bad team, you take care of business. This, I mean, it's tough to win on the road in the Big Ten. I'll give you that one. But this is a terrible, and I'm not going to stress it enough, terrible Michigan team that just beat the Badgers. The Badgers have, if this wasn't a reality check, if the Nebraska and Purdue losses weren't reality checks, this has got to be it. Because if you go into the rack and play anywhere near this kind of basketball, Rutgers is going to beat you. And then you'll have 4 losses in a row. And then I tell you what, if Greg Gard is not on the hot seat after that game, I don't know what the University of Madison is smoking because you know what? End of the day, I know that football is a bigger program, right? But this basketball team for the Badgers, I mean, how many years in a row did they make it to the NCAA tournament? Like 22 years in a row they were making it to the tournament.
Yeah, there was some. We were one of the top programs that there was like a streak for 20-something games where we made a bowl game for football and we made the tournament. It was like 20-something games in a row or 20-something seasons in a row where both our teams made the postseason. And then I'm pretty sure that obviously got snapped. Well, I don't think we went to this. We didn't make the tournament.
We didn't make.
Was that last year? So I think that's what snapped it last year. So
2020, 2021, somewhere in there. It was it was a while. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that I don't care what people have to say. Wisconsin's basketball program is actually pretty highly touted in the world, in the Big Ten at least. I mean, Wisconsin has a good basketball program. They're proving it, but I just don't know, end of the day, if Greg Gard is the guy who can get the Badgers over the hump there. I don't know if he is. I really don't. I like Greg Gard as a assistant coach. I like him as a basketball mind. I don't think he's a head coach. I really don't. And that is my hot take of the day. I really don't think he has what it takes to lead the Badgers. You know, look at the football team, right? Paul Chryst could go 11-1 every single season, but he couldn't beat Ohio State. He never could. He could never beat Ohio State. And he always had a winning record. He always won the Big Ten West, but he could never get the Badgers over that Big Ten championship hump. Where's Paul Chryst now? Gone. Gone out of Madison. We brought in Luke Fickell. He's supposed to lead us to the promised land. I don't know where basketball is, but it can't be far off. Because this basketball team they're at 11 right now in the country. They're probably going to drop to like 24 after this game. They're going to be pretty low ranked in the top 25. I mean, that's barring that they take care of business against Rutgers. I mean, can't imagine if they lose 2 in a row. But, man, I mean, you know, we talk about coaches on hot seats. I think this Badger team isn't bad. That's the thing. I don't think this Badger team is bad by any means. I think Chucky Hepburn is a fine point guard. I think Klesmit's a pretty good shooting guard. I think A.J. Storr is a phenomenal athlete. I think Tyler Wall is a very good interior basketball player. And I think Steven Crowell, if you poke him enough, maybe you get some aggressive play out of him. And maybe he tries to score it around the rim. Bench-wise, Blackwell and Essegian are both very good players. And Nolan Winter's a developmental project. But do they have the coach in the building to be able to get them over that hump? I don't think so. We watched this team beat Marquette. We've watched this team win games. You can't say this team can't beat good teams. But at the end of the day, in close games, Greg Gard's the last guy I want calling a play. I'm going to be honest with you. He can't draw up a play coming out of a timeout. He can't. It's brutally honest, but that's the truth. He can't call a play coming out of a timeout, and he can't make adjustments in a game. He struggles at making adjustments. That's where I'm at right now with the Badgers. I don't know. This was ugly. This was an ugly game all the way around, and you can only afford so many ugly losses before some question marks have to come up, and there's a big question mark hanging over top of this game. So with that, anything else you want to add to that Badger talk there?
Besides the game, I think we talked about this either it was yesterday or a few days ago. We were talking about in-state talent and how kind of Greg Gard has kind of disregarded in-state talent with recruiting and everything. And I was just scrolling on ESPN here, like as you were talking, and I see like for next year, first off, next year we only have 2 recruits right now. I mean, I guess last year we only had 4 guys, but next year we only have 2 recruits, both of them out of Minnesota. One of them is a point guard, and another one is another small forward out of guess where? Lakeville North. That seems where we kind of get everything. We kind of got that Lakeville North pipeline out of Minnesota. Both guys are both 4 stars, and they both committed. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. And then I looked at the 2025, so in 2 years, so juniors in school now. We had Zach Kinzinger, out of De Pere. His brother actually plays in Illinois State there, but he is a younger one. He's a 4-star also. He committed. And then there's a guy here, Kai Rogers out of Wauwatosa West High School, Wisconsin. He's a center, 6'10", 4-star. His grade is an 84. If we're not able to get this guy, then I don't know what. Then not only do you have to look at Greg Gardner as a coach, but like what we were saying, you have to look at him as a recruiter also, because I was thinking there's more names that we even mentioned. We were talking about the big names. We were talking about like the Tyler Heroes and the Tyrese Halliburtons and all them people. There's even more trades. There's even more that we don't even know about, and who knows? But like you were saying, Greg Gard is, after this game, he's got to be on the hot seat. He's got to be.
There's got to be question marks surrounding this University of Wisconsin basketball program. That is 100%. There was never a question mark around Bo Ryan. There is a question mark around Greg Gard right now. If he can get it done in Madison. Like you said, I mean, and a big problem now is you're looking at the transfer portal. You're looking at guys who can leave the University of Madison. You're looking at NIL money and everything like that. And, I mean, looking at Wisconsin, what tells you Connor Essegian's coming back? What really tells you he's coming back? I wouldn't come back to this. And we talk about development of players. The Badgers can bring in however many 4-stars they want, but can we guarantee those guys are going to develop into what we need? Look at the Badgers right now. We're struggling at the center position. We have to rely on Nolan Winter as a freshman who can't really bang bodies, going in there and trying to bang bodies with some pretty big dudes in the Big Ten. You had your center in Chris Hodges, who hasn't developed. He's a sophomore this year, but hasn't developed enough. He hasn't been getting playing time. We're relying on guys like Carter Gilmore to come in there and play big minutes for the Badgers. It has a lot of holes in recruiting, like you said. It's a lot of holes in development of players. There has got to be a lot of questions in Madison right now, and there has to be a lot of improvement fast. Otherwise, this might be another one of those Paul Chryst situations where I don't care how many winning records you've had. I don't care how many times you're in the conversation for the top of the Big Ten Conference. You got to be able to get over a hump, and I don't know right now with this Badger team what's coming next. So Badgers lose an ugly one to Michigan there. Definitely rough news moving forward. But with that, I want to move on here, talk about a couple of our sponsors. We have first Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood. If you have a sports injury or any kind of injury and you need some physical therapy, stop in and see the awesome people at Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood. They will get you right and on your way back to your active life. And with that, also Game Day Supply in Onalaska. Do you have a sports club or team? Are you looking for some custom uniforms or apparel? Check out the awesome crew at Game Day Supply in Onalaska to get you fitted with the sweetest gear. Check them out on Facebook at Game Day Supply or online at GameDaySupply.net. But with that, Austin, I got to get to you here. Let's get something interesting. We've had a rough day so far. Let's get to our fact of the day.
Trage, I feel like this one's pretty relevant considering the Super Bowl is is coming up here pretty soon. In 1963, the AFL's Dallas Texans become the Kansas City Chiefs. I didn't even know that there was the Dallas Texans. I just thought it was always the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm not sure a whole lot about everything. I love football, but I'm not a football genius by any means. But I just thought that was interesting. And I always thought the Kansas City Chiefs were kind of always there, but 1963 is when the Dallas Texans become the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFL.
Interesting. That is definitely interesting right there. It's so difficult to go back in time and see some of these football teams and just where they came from and everything like that. It's hard to keep track. It really is hard to keep track of expansion teams and everything like that.
I've always wondered, I saw this one video on YouTube. It's like a map of the United States, and it kind of just shows like the teams kind of like from the beginning of when football was pretty much created, or like professional football. And there were like the Chicago Stallions. There was like a bunch of old teams, and it just shows like the migration of teams and some just popping up and leaving. I just wonder what it would be like, kind of what you were saying, like back in that time, like when teams were kind of just popping up and then they're gone and then teams were just moving and everyone's like, whoa. I also saw there was another one here on this website that if I can find it real quick. Cleveland, okay, so in 1996, NFL in Cleveland allows Art Model to move his franchise from Baltimore or franchise to Baltimore, but he had to leave the Browns name behind. So that's even another one where we saw, because Baltimore went to Indianapolis and then the Browns went to Baltimore and then the Browns got another team. It's really interesting, I feel like.
It's like you buy a t-shirt for a team and the next week they're gone and you got to like put the duct tape over the top and just replace the city that they're in. Like it's one of those kind of dealios. Definitely interesting right there. It's hard to believe how far sports have come, and it's going to be interesting to see. They always talk about expansion teams. It's going to be interesting to see who gets added and where they move to. I really hope that we don't go internationally with it.
I was just going to say that. Now they're thinking about always trying to move a team to England or something. I'm like, that's just not going to work. That's not going to work.
No, that'll be terrible. I mean, that'll be terrible for the game. It's called American football. You leave it in America. You want to play games over there, that's fine, but don't move it internationally. Leave some of that stuff here. And what teams are you going to move to take them over there? What conference are you going to put them in? I mean, it's too much. It is too much. They tried a European football league at one point, not like football as in soccer, but football, and I'm pretty sure it failed. So I couldn't see it ending up working over there, especially trying to go across the world there to get over to it. So with that, we got a lot coming up tomorrow. So I want to get into our last thing of the day. Austin had it for his sports story of the day, or his Wisconsin story of the day. So Austin, Badger football news. You have the article. Do you have it up there? What are you seeing right now coming out of the Badger football team?
Yeah, I'll pull it up on my phone here. I took a screenshot of it, and there was a report that came out of Badger football that the Badgers coach Luke Fickell says that he believes former Titans coach and Fickell's college teammate / roommate and former assistant coach Mike Vrabel will be around Wisconsin football in some capacity this year. And then it says Mike Vrabel to Wisconsin has the question mark and then the big eyes, That is, I didn't even know that they had relations or knew each other, honestly. But imagine if we just got one of the best defensive coaches or defensive minds in the NFL, and now he comes to the Badgers and starts coaching us. I feel like that's going to be interesting because he's going to be there in some capacity. What does some capacity mean? I don't know. And I feel like it could mean a lot of things. Doesn't say that he's a coach, but doesn't say that he's not going to be there. So definitely very interesting. And maybe this is why Mike Vrabel didn't take a head coaching job. Maybe, I don't know. I doubt that he would. I don't know. Maybe he's just taking it off here, and he's like, oh, my buddy Luke Fickell is coaching a Big Ten team. I head over there and see what's up. But I thought that was pretty interesting. If he's able to help out for the Badgers, I feel like that's very exciting. As the Badgers, he definitely maybe possibly get more recruits or better recruits. Not that we're not getting good recruits now, but just hearing the name Mike Vrabel, that was an NFL head coach, and now he's going to be spending time a little bit with the Badgers. There's a reason to come to the Badgers even more now because you got this NFL head guy this NFL old head coach that's going to be hanging around. Definitely could be looking at stuff. I just think it's a good opportunity for the Badgers here if Mike Vrabel is hanging around the facilities and possibly doing a little coaching.
Yeah, I'm reading what Luke Fickell said because he said it. He was on a radio show with Mark Tauscher, and he said, I'm not sure exactly if this was his choice or what his future holds, but I know that we're going to have a visitor here that's going to spend a little time or a bit of time, hopefully around us, starting in the spring and things like that. See how deep we can get involved with my buddy and getting him around here. That's interesting. He doesn't have a lot going on right now because he didn't get any head coaching jobs. So maybe he wants to get involved into something. Luke Fickell gave him a call and said, hey, you want to come up to Madison here and just kind of touch base with us? it's definitely something the defensive coordinators could look at Vrabel, and they could even take things from him too. Kind of learn from Vrabel with what he's done in the past. I don't know. Maybe he's just going like Jim Leonhard was a special assistant for Illinois along with Paul Chryst. Maybe that's something that Vrabel does. Is he's kind of just like that special assistant kind of guy, not really involved fully, but I don't know. It's definitely interesting. It definitely, like you said, sparks an interest for defensive players to say, hey, Vrabel's got his nose in there at Madison. Maybe that's a place we got to check out now. It's definitely that's big news for the Badgers. They're getting some experience like Vrabel coming in and even just being around them at practices there in the spring.
Yeah, even in the spring, and like you were saying, it's interesting that he didn't have any, like, after all the positions kind of got filled up for the head coaching jobs in the NFL, Mike Vrabel's name kind of went silent. Like, this is the first time I saw something about him. And I feel like Wisconsin, we should be lucky to even have the opportunity. Great defensive mind, like I said, not Bill Belichick, but probably close to it because Mike Vrabel played underneath Bill Belichick there. So definitely going to be interesting to see what the Badgers are able to do if he's hanging around. Possibly even hire him as an assistant coach. Heck, I would fire my D-line coach just to pick up Mike Vrabel. Honestly, I don't know how strong of a relation Luke Fickell has with his D-line coach, but sorry, buddy, we got Mike Vrabel coming. We got a former NFL head coach coming in here. I feel like he could teach a thing or two to some of these D linemen here.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Definitely interesting news coming out of the Badgers there. Also, just wanted to mention the Brewers did sign Gary Sanchez yesterday to a 1-year, $7 million contract. It kind of has me excited simply because Gary Sanchez is Blake Snell's battery mate, and they kind of expected free agent pitcher Blake Snell to go wherever he went. They expected kind of that team to pick up Gary Sanchez just to have with them. Maybe the Brewers traded Burns, and now they're going to take a deep dive, and they're going to grab Blake Snell off of the free agent market. That would be a huge grab. And then also I did see if I can pull it up here, off of Trevor Bauer's, it was on his Twitter. He said that he would be interested in something for like league minimum, and he not really a big contract from any team. Trevor Bauer is still a pretty good pitcher. The Brewers could double dip and grab Blake Snell and grab a guy like, if they could grab a guy like Blake Snell and grab a guy like Trevor Bauer, I would be excited again. I would be ecstatic for Brewer baseball because then you would have a three-headed monster there in your starting rotation with Snell and Bauer and Freddie Peralta. And this lineup is getting better and better. I mean, the more you look at it, the more excited you are for the offense. And then the pitching would get back. The bullpen, they just added Junis out there. They added a reliever from the Giants. He's a pretty good reliever there in Junis. So the bullpen's loading up. I don't know. They got to add somebody in that starting rotation for me to be a little bit, more excited to see this Brewer team. And I really do think that a guy like Trevor Bauer could do it by himself. But if you got Blake Snell too, this starting rotation for the Brewers would be back, and I'd be excited again. So definitely interesting news there on the Brewer front. We got a lot coming up tomorrow. We got the weekend preview. We have a Super Bowl preview. We got we're going to call it our Super Bowl special tomorrow. We got to talk about the Super Bowl. We got to talk about the weekend preview in Wisconsin sports. Lots to get into tomorrow there. Austin, anything else to end the show today?
No, Trace, I feel like we hit a lot of topics that might hurt the heart for a little bit, but you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. We'll move on, and we'll continue to talk about Wisconsin sports.
It's Wisconsin sports, right? They hurt our feelings.
Honestly, we're used to it by now, Trage. We're used to it by now.
Wisconsin sports are like your crush in high school, right? You got the feelings for her. She gets you all excited and then shoots you down. And then
she moves to college, cheats on you. Next thing you know, You're single again, all alone in high school still. And you're like, what the heck happened? Life hits you fast, Trage. Life hits you fast. Never happened to me. Never happened to me, but I'm sure there's some of you out there. Not going to say.
We are sorry. Hey, we are here.
We are sorry. We're here for you. As Wisconsin fans, we know how you feel.
We are here to talk if you need to talk. We will start the talk group. We will be Wisconsin
therapists.
Yeah.
Therapy on the go. Therapy on the go with Trage and Hum and Austin.
Therapy. Wisconsin Therapy. That's what we should have named the podcast, was Wisconsin Therapy.
Is there still time to change? There's still time to change the name, is there not? I don't know. No, I'm kidding.
I think we might have to. We might just change it to Wisconsin Sports Therapy and just make everybody feel better or worse about the state of Wisconsin sports.
People love to hate on Wisconsin sports, but they don't know how it is to be a fan, Trage.
I think once a week, we have Wisconsin Sports Therapy. Once a week. Every Wednesday will be the new day. Every Wednesday will be the new day where we just talk about all of our feelings towards Wisconsin sports. Doesn't matter what it is. Packers, Badgers, whatever it is. Could be off season, could be in season. Whatever it is, we just get all of our feelings out about them throughout the years, whatever it is.
If we start talking about our feelings, we might have Rogan talking about The Bachelor again. I don't know if we want that. Might have to cut that part out if he starts doing that. But I think it's a great idea.
True that. We're going to do that now. Wednesdays on the show will now be Wisconsin Sports Therapy Day. That's what we're going to call it. We'll have a full segment for Wisconsin Sports Therapy. And with that, also in exciting news, on the Game Day Supply website, if you aren't following us on Facebook, we are going to post the link on there. But on the Game Day Supply website, there is a section now for Wisconsin Sports on the Go apparel. So sweatshirts, hoodies, shirts, everything like that, they will be listed on there for sale for you to grab on there and support us too. So that was exciting news for us that we wanted to share with you guys. If you're not following us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever it is, give us a follow. We love to. TikTok, we have TikTok too. Follow us on all them apps there. We stay up to date, especially on Facebook. We really post out there a lot and keep people up to date on what's going on in the world of sports. So definitely give us a follow on all them platforms and reach out to us. Give us a review. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, and give us your thoughts on Wisconsin sports and where you think they're at, because we love to interact with people and with the fans. We love to get in arguments. We love to, not arguments, but indifferences. We love to
troll people in the comments. No, I'm kidding.
Austin loves to troll people in the comments. Not on the Facebook page. He does it with his personal account. But with
personal
that,
account.
It's a burner. It's a burner phone. But with that, we got a lot to get into tomorrow. We got the Super Bowl preview coming up for you tomorrow. We got a lot to talk about leading up into this weekend. So with that, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. But until then, deuces.